What up, y'all? VTX in the building. I'm back. I made it. Had a crazy week. I'm so happy to be jumping back on camera. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Let's jump right into it. This past week was nuts. I hope y'all are still long and strong. Listen, this is just me personally. I am not thinking about selling anything until Ethereum at least breaks its all-time high. Not even that I'm gonna doesn't mean that once Ethereum breaks its all-time high I'm gonna start clicking sell, but I'm not even gonna think about it. It's not even a thought in my mind. All right, not even a thought. We're in the bull market. Bitcoin just tapped its all-time high, came back down. Ethereum's still waiting to get up there. We have a pullback, and things are starting to heat up. Things are starting to get exciting. It's not the time to get really, antsy-pantsy and be like, oh, I don't want, these pullbacks are going to be tough. They are going to be tough. And they're tough for everyone. But you got to look at the big picture. You got to zoom out a little bit. And I was thinking about the emotional cycle and how things move in waves. And I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I'm an audio engineer and I deal with waves a lot. And what's funny is sound waves, they have a frequency, right? And within that frequency, there's waves at a higher frequency inside of that wave, and there's waves at a higher frequency in that wave, and those are called harmonics. And that's what separates the difference between like a saxophone and a piano to our ears. But that's not the point. The point is that you can have waves within waves. So if you zoom all the way out and you see we're in the bull run and we're going to make this big wave, but there can be waves, intermediary waves on the way where there's thrusts up and pullbacks and thrusts up and pullbacks. But it all depends on which direction we're heading in generally, right? So it's really interesting to see people really like wig out and make sporadic decisions and start going on spewing all types of hate and anger and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, these are the emotional cycles, This is really people talking about the color of the candle. And at the end of the day, we don't know how low or how high these candles are going to go, but we can do things that position ourselves to not always be right, but hopefully make money. So yes, still long, still strong, haven't sold anything, still super bullish on the RH ecosystem, love Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is a thriving city. There's so many cool projects on there, so many fun memes. People are here for the memes. People are here for the memes. They really are. They're here for AI. They're here for the memes. They're here for whatever. I don't know. I'm still super bullish. I love my Pulse Chain. Love PulseX. That buy and burn is going to pay dividends. I'm just so bullish on that. The fact that no matter what people participate in, they have to buy PulseX. They got to do it. You got to buy PulseX. Sorry. What do you want me to do? You're buying it no matter what. Still have my Hex. Didn't sell any of my E-Hex. Didn't sell any of my P-Hex. And, I was reflecting because people taking stabs at Sami, and I remember months ago, when Sami was like, look, Hex is really strong right now in comparison to Pulse and PulseX. And he said he was going to rotate his portfolio and go heavy into Pulse and PulseX and trim out the Hex. And I had to make a decision. And I was staked. So I said, you know what? I got DCA bullets come in. I'll just keep DCAing Pulse and PulseX. I got my Hex. Rather than make the rotation, even though that rotation was a slam dunk, I didn't do it. I stayed staked, and it is what it is. And I'm not crying about it. I still want to see what happens. I'm not FOMOing. I'm not buying the tops of green candles. I'm not rushing over to P-Hex when everybody says that's the real Hex. I'm not selling my E-Hex bag. I'm not selling my P-Hex bag. I like my bags. Still. There might be a time where they come overvalued and we'll have to see what we have to do from there. But right now I like my bags. So, what are you going to do? What are we really going to do? You want to play in the drama, you want to bicker, you want to go back and forth. No, you don't want to do that. You want to make money. You want to be involved in the market. You want to, by you, I mean me, I want to not identify with my emotions, and I want to see the bigger picture. And Ethereum hasn't even broken the all-time high. We need Ethereum to go up, Bitcoin's going up, then Ethereum's going to go up, and then all the other coins are going to go up. And we just got to see how much more we go up. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about finding opportunity in some lottery tickets. Because yes, I'm participating in lottery tickets. No, I'm not taking it out of my core portfolio. I like to put in fresh capital, and I like to find out what's going on. Like, if these core coins don't really slam dunk as far as we think they're going to slam, maybe some of these lottery tickets will take off. Maybe it'll all go to zero tomorrow. I don't know, but it's fun and we're doing it. So with that being said, I'm going to hop on the computer, which is making all this crazy noise because it's a 2015 and it's just struggling to hang in there. All right. I have 2 reflection tokens here. I'm not a huge fan of reflection tokens because what they do is they take a tax and they use that tax to pay the holders that are holding the coin. It's whatever it is. Look, I don't know. These are all lottery tickets. They're all shite. I don't know if they're gonna. Don't buy any of these. I just want to. I'm more interested in showing you the thought process that I go through when I try to find cheap prices, because at least if we buy cheap prices, not financial advice, at least if we buy cheap prices, there's a chance we can catch an uptrend in the wave. Because we know if we buy expensive prices, we're banking on it going up, but there's also a lot of room for it to go down, and you haven't really flushed out those weak hands. And that momentum traders are trying to trade on that momentum, and contrarian investors are trying to find deep undervalued, poop that people are just crying about and like, get me out of this bag. I don't want it anymore. So we scoop it up. Maybe. I haven't, I have a little bit of each of these coins just as so I mentioned this on DeFi Down Under. Big shout out to DeFi Down Under. Duzza, True Blue, amazing hosts. It was so awesome to be a guest on there. It's an amazing channel. All those guys over there, Tangent, 43OG. You guys are awesome. Australia is dope. All right. I brought my Fosters onto the onto the show. It was such a good time. Love you guys. Big shout out. One thing I had mentioned that I did was, Pulse Chain is so cheap to transact on. And I just kind of did this for fun because, obviously we have our dedicated computer with our hardware wallets that has our bag. But, I got like a hot wallet on my phone and I threw $100 in there and I just split it up into 10 pieces, $10 each. And I bought like 10 different coins. And now it's not only about checking charts, but I can just see the number value of what that $10 turned into, whether it went down or whether it went up. And just a way to kind of see how things are flowing against each other and just keep an eye on the market and just for fun, basically. So that was just one thing that was interesting that we talked about. And anywho, hopping onto this computer. This is called Blast. I don't know. It's about some game sort of thing. It's been out for how long? 2 months. All right. So this is a daily chart. And we are, in fact, charting against Pulse. So very important. When you want to find... So, all right, let me back up. First of all, no stable coins for me. No stable coins until we're very overheated. So if I make any gains, and of course any of these can go to zero, if I make any gains, what I want to do is rotate back into the Spear or the layer 1 coin. So on Ethereum, that would be ETH. On Pulse Chain, that would be Pulse. And that's what I'm going to chart against. So if you can make like a 2x or a 3x against Pulse Chain, and then let's say you make a 2x against Pulse Chain, you sell that, you get your Pulse, then Pulse goes up a 5x later in the cycle, that makes a 10x. You know what I mean? Because you X'd and then you X'd. You X'd. So that's kind of where that strategy comes in. And it's risky. I mean, you know, Ethereum is leverage on Bitcoin. Let's even back up. Bitcoin's leverage on the stock market. ETH is leverage on Bitcoin. Pulse chain is leverage on ETH. And all these shit coins are leverage on Pulse. So we're playing like, you know, the upside can be tremendous in either direction. So that's what we're playing. Anywho, here goes Blast. I don't know if I just take... There you go, a 10x. I didn't even mark from the bottom. Goes 10x against Pulse, right? Then, from this top, we're down 80%. All right? We're down 80% against Pulse. And that's where things start to get juicy. 80, 85%, 90%. And the thing is, in the bull market, it seems to be that the pullbacks are going to be shorter and potentially less ferocious to the downside. So you might have to keep that in mind when you're charting, but these are still... So this is interesting, right? Over here, you had these 3 days. If you had seen this, let's go to a 4-hour chart, right? Which is supposedly blasphemy. Let's put this on. So see these 3 days right here? You were just chilling. You could have scooped, let's say you bought the ultimate top in those 3 days. And you just held a couple days, and today you're up 34% against your Pulse. Woohoo! So there you go. Here's a little run. 2x against your Pulse. So it does these runs, you know what I mean? So if you're looking to hold this and say, hey, maybe this can get back to its all-time high, there you go. There's a 5x. Or maybe it gets back to this high. There's a 2.5x against your Pulse. And then you hope that your Pulse goes. So things I'm looking at, I haven't added to this coin, but here goes another reflection token. Oh, so that Blast token gives you reflections in Pulse, which is cool because you get, you know, the tax from people trading in and out. So you're getting some passive Pulse there. This Mike token, which is Monsters Incorporated, gives you reflections in Incentive token, and we all love Incentive token. So let's see what this guy did. We did a run up here. Oh, nice little 12x against Pulse chain. And where are we sitting at right now? Boom. See, this one only 40% down. So just something to keep in mind. If you look at this chart, we follow it along, kind of like staying here. I don't know, it's mid-range. It's like it's kind of found its fair value, and if you get it here, I don't know, maybe it comes down to here, maybe it goes up even higher. We don't know. We're just looking at all this stuff. All right, cool. Here goes Pool Party, Dip Catcher's coin. He did Maximus DAO, Gophers, Legend in the Game. So this coin came out a month ago. Did this whole big run, and as you can see, it's been trending down, and currently it's 70% down against Pulse. So that's interesting. And when I look at this chart, another thing I see that's interesting is like, see these waves like whoa and then up and whoa and down and then whoa and down, and now it's starting kind of just to settle here over the past couple days. This has given us this rounded kind of bottom thing, and could mean that it starts to go up. You know, the volatility is sort of starting to mellow out, and then if it kind of means you like the people that are sold, they sold, right? And it's kind of hasn't been doing anything, and you just hope that buyers come in and bring it back the other way. Don't know. So that's an interesting chart. And then our friend Pepe. So this is cool. So this is the copy of Ethereum Pepe on Pulse Chain that got forked when Pulse Chain came out. And Pepe's hot. I don't know. Maybe Pepe can do something on Pulse Chain. I mean, look at this monster run. We're still charting in Pulse over here. It does this crazy run here, and let's say you get this pullback. So what is this pullback? So if you're a contrarian investing and you're looking at this, okay, boom, there's a 70% dip against, and you say, okay, you have a few, maybe a week or two, a week over here, because we're on the daily, and then whoa, 9x against your pulse. That's crazy. And then you see down and down and down, and look at this nice kind of rounded bottom thingy. So can it go back up? Who knows? From the all-time high, we are down 85%. Pretty juicy. And back to the all-time high, 6x, 6.5x. Maybe it just goes here. There goes your 2.5x. Who knows? And probably the least sexy of the narratives, ZKZX. See, this is really interesting because it's a privacy coin, and that's like an old narrative. But for some reason, like, this thing just went flying. Look at this. All the way up here. Does a 7.5x against Pulse. And then this crazy double top, right? And now currently we're sitting 86% down from the top. You don't know. I don't know. Could be juicy. You know, from here back to the top is a 7.5x. Look, man, these numbers are crazy if you're going against Pulse. So another, like, this big run up, right? And then wham, and then wave, and down, and wave, and back up, and just kind of see this rounding off. It's like, okay, our seller, people sold, you know? Selling, and just that volatility starts to mellow out, and you just hope it's you know, doesn't get rugged and go to zero, and maybe buyers come in and it scoots back up. And I just want to throw a little bonus coin in here. Land Wolf, I saw Sami talk about this. I'm gonna chart against ETH. You have this massive run up, right? Bang. Then from this top, we go all the way down to, why are these buttons here? We go down to 85% down. That's juicy, all right? Minus 85% is juicy. And you see this, and this thing only came out a few days ago. How many days? 13 days ago, right? So this is a 4-hour chart. So you had maybe a day here where you see, oh wow, this is 85%, and see, we go up and down and bang, and all this volatility, and down and bang, and it starts to, you know, curl back up. And if you were lucky enough, even if you just entered right here, right now, you know, you're almost 2x up against your ETH. So I don't know, hopefully that helps. Like, there's so many coins. I just pulled a couple out that I thought were interesting, had interesting charts. You got to do some legwork. Like, nobody's going to hold your hand through the bull market. It's going to be moving really fast. One piece of advice for myself that I learned from last cycle, 2 things. Number 1, I'm not going to be doing full rotations, like in and out of things. Like, I'm always going to save a little bit, because nothing hurts more than just like, all right, let's say you buy one of these, it does a 2x, and you swap all of it out, and then the thing runs up another 10x or whatever. And you're like, oh, you know, I would have had so much more if I would have held on to that. So I learned from that, and I'm just always going to save a little moon bag, you know, just in case, you know. The second thing that I learned is that always going to be rotating back into that layer 1, you know, the spear, back into pulse chain. Until things are just like really, really hot, I'm not really interested in stable coins. Like, I'm not. Like, you're trying to get leverage on leverage. So why would I just put my money in something that I know is guaranteed not to make any gains in a bull market? It just doesn't make any sense. So I hope this was interesting. Obviously, I subscribe to the Sami mentality, which is 90% core, 10% lottery. I do, like, this trading game, look, just playing around. Like, I'm still long-term RH ecosystem, love those core coins, and this is just like a little bit of fun to have in the bull market. Things are exciting. They're moving very fast, up and down. You know, we just saw a flush up, and we just saw a dip back down. Maybe this kind of like this lower volatility sits for like another month, another 2 months, another 3, who knows? And then at some point, you know, we have another flush up, and that's what we're playing for. And in the meantime, you know, if you can, just try to stack your, you know, make some extra bread, throw in some extra bullets into it to invest in, and, you know, just keep adding to your bag, because bull market's going to be fun and exciting. I hope you guys learned something or found some value out of this content. Please leave a comment if you want to, you know, think this is interesting or got some questions. I really love reading the comments. I hope you have an amazing day. I love you and appreciate you, and peace.